Hello guys and welcome to today's video. In this video we're going to be looking at a lot of different things actually this time with SSTs, tropical index intensity, stuff like that, wind shear, and the such. And right now we're going to be looking at the sea surface temperatures. And as you can see, we are starting to get these 26s now, rounding up the corner here on the east coast, east coast of Florida. Those are your 80-degree lines here that are starting to make their way north along the Gulf Stream here. As you can see, 26s are starting to get here in the deep Gulf of Mexico here. It's about halfway to the north Gulf Coast here. So I bet here in the next 4 days when I do another tropical update, these might be a little bit farther north than they were today. The Bay of Campeche here is really starting to get cooking now too. We got 26s, 27s, and even some 28s here along the coast. So these are only going to propagate to the north and west, and probably to the east as well. The Caribbean here, it's warm, but I think it's not as warm as it could be at this time of year. It's definitely plenty warm enough to have tropical activity and whatnot, but these are definitely lower than normal sea surface temperatures for the Caribbean. We're mostly in like the 28s, 29s, and 30s degrees Celsius waters here in the Caribbean. The MDR region, as you can see here, the deep MDR region, these are still slowly making their way north. As we go through time, they're starting to creep towards where these tropical waves are going to start coming off here of Africa. And once that happens, these tropical waves will have a better chance of sustaining themselves as they get into a cooler, or not cooler water, but warmer water. Um, and these and everything else in between, like the Western Atlantic and Eastern MDR, that's plenty warm enough, 26s and 27s, which is about 80 to 82 degrees Celsius. Let's see here. Here is the sea surface temperatures for globally here, and we're just gonna take a look here at these Eastern Pacific numbers here, and as you can see, the equatorial Pacific is starting to warm up a little bit. That's indicative to what we're about to show here shortly here with the ENSO forecast. And as you can see, we got 27s and 28s all around the equator right now. So this is indicative of a neutral pattern right now. And we got some 29s too here in the Eastern Pacific as well. Here's the SST anomalies for the past 7 days, and as you can see, it's a mixed bag here of cooler than normal sea surface temperatures, above normal sea surface temperatures, and neutral sea surface temperatures here. So it's kind of hard to tell where it's going at this point, at least with this map, because it's a mixed bag here, and we'll probably have to look at something else, which we will here in a moment, to get a real clear picture of what is going on. Here's in the Gulf of Mexico here. As you can see, the 7-day anomalies are below average for most of the Gulf of Mexico. That's because we still have winter storms and cold fronts that are sweeping in, and it's making these temperatures, not soar as they should be for this time of year. Like if we look back at the sea surface temperatures this time last year, these were warmer than normal to start off here at this point in time. There are also some neutral colors here in the Gulf of Mexico too. Caribbean 7-day anomalies. It's a mixed bag of two. So we got some warmer than normal sea surface temperatures. We got some neutral colors, and we got some below normal sea surface temperatures. I do think that the Caribbean will warm up, but not as quickly as it should. So the MDR is probably not going to be, or not the MDR, but the Caribbean is not going to be. I mean, it's going to have activity, but it's not going to be as strong as say other years in the past, in my opinion. So here in the Atlantic, we got some well above average sea surface temperatures, so about 1 to 1.5 degrees warmer than normal. This is in the Western Atlantic and the Central Atlantic here. We get down to towards the MDR, and we got some neutrals, some cooler than normal, and then some warmer than normal. With all of this down here trying to work its way north to get rid of this cooler than normal sea surface temperatures. All right, this is the means. This is pretty much the average of what is going on right now. As you can see here in the equatorial Pacific, we still have a lot of blues here, and this is still a weakening La Nina, and I'll show you here in the Nina 3.4 index here in shortly. But we still gotta stay in the neutral phase for a couple more weeks or months for it to actually be a neutral. I think it's 3 months that it has to stay above the negative zero point 0.5 line for it to be a neutral. And right now, this the mean here is showing still a weak La Nina as it's dying off due to some westerlies. Here is the means for the Atlantic, and as you can see, the Western, Central, and Eastern Atlantic is really cooking above normal here. This is why I do believe that an MDR season is my thinking. 2017, close to 2017, we might get some good long tracked systems this year. As you can see, the actual MDR region is below normal here, but this will change here in a few weeks here as we go about time. Um, Caribbean, it stays true to what I was saying, cooler than normal. Gulf of Mexico is starting to warm up as you can see, but there are still some pockets of cooler than normal sea surface temperatures on the west side and the east side. But I do believe that this warm pocket is going to dominate here shortly. Here's the 3.4 index here for the ENSO, and as you can see right now, we're at a value of negative 0.270. Yesterday, it almost was knocking on the door of the negative 0.3 degree line. So this is still deciding what it wants to do. Really, what does it want to go up or does it want to go down? So we're gonna definitely be seeing these roller coaster rides as we persist throughout the season. Um, my opinion is it will go down just a little bit, probably close to weak La Nina stages, and then it's gonna probably stay there for a month or two, and then I think from that point forward, I think we will be seeing a building El Nino for next year, because typically we do not see 3 years of La Nina slash neutral um, phases. It's a windshield wiper effect, like how storms move left and right. The 3.4 region is a windshield wiper effect too. It switches back and forth, depending on how the waters feel at the time. All right, here's another look at these sea surface temperature anomalies. This is from NOAA and NESDES here. Um, as you can see, these 26-degree lines is starting to make their way up the Gulf Stream here. So the Gulf Stream is going to be doing nothing but warming from this point forward, since we're getting into the warmer times of the year. Excuse me. Um, as you can see, the 26-degree isotherm here is really dominating most of the Western Atlantic here and the Caribbean, with some 28s pocketing in here and there. Um, Here in the Gulf of Mexico, we can see that the 26 degrees is pretty much covering half of the Gulf of Mexico. So it's only a matter of a few more weeks before we get these temperatures in all of the Gulf of Mexico up to 80 degrees Fahrenheit. All right, here is a look at the wind shear here. And as you can see, we got some reds dominating most of the picture here. This is indicative of the winter storms that are still piling on in here in late April. We do got some cold spells going on here in the U.S. in America here that is keeping these wind shears pretty high right now. So once once these cold spells stop coming in, that's when the wind shear is probably going to start weakening. And we can get some greens and yellows on the map, and that's when we will finally probably see the start of the hurricane season. I do, in my opinion, I do think that we will get a May storm. I just don't know when in May, but that's what I feel. As you can see here, these green shears, the green lines are is favorable conditions for tropical development. So you can see parts of the southern Caribbean is favorable for development at this time, but as you can see, there's nothing really there. So nothing to really take advantage of those good, clean wind shear effects here. And then you got 70 knots and 50 to 60 knots, so which that goes like for any tropical development whatsoever. Here are the water temperatures right now, and as you can see, when was this updated? This was updated today at 3:02 p.m. And as you can see, the 80s are dominating the Caribbean here, so these waters are plenty warm enough to sustain any tropical development that may or may not start. Um, you can see these 79s coming up the Gulf Stream, so the Gulf Stream is almost just about ready to go. Give that a couple more, like another week or two, and I think we'll see 80s replacing these 79s and 77 here, in my opinion. The Gulf of Mexico is still running just below the 80-degree mark for most of the Gulf. But yeah, as you can see, these 81s and 80s are starting to get here in the central and southern Gulf here. And these temperatures are only going to propagate to the west and to the east and to the north as we go out through time. So we're going to really have to start paying attention to these water temperatures as we go forward in time. Now, we just looked at the wind shear in another perspective. So this is another perspective of the wind shears here. And as you can see, um, we got mild to weak wind shears here for the northern Caribbeans, the south and western Gulf of Mexico, pretty much the entirety of the east coast of the Gulf that has low to moderate wind shear, as well as the western Gulf. Um, the same can be said here for parts of the western Atlantic, uh, central Atlantic, probably in the MDR region. And as you can see down here, all this whole place in the Caribbean has little to no wind shear whatsoever. And I don't know if this is going to start propagating north. I mean, I don't know if that's how it works. I haven't really looked too much into wind shear factors and how they actually work, but I think that's how they work. I mean, we're just gonna have to wait and find out. All right, here's the atmospheric moisture, and as you can see, um, there are some dry pockets here in the Caribbean, and a lot of dry pockets, very dry pockets here in the northern and northwestern Gulf here. But as you can see, there's a lot of moisture here in the south and southwestern Gulf, going up to the center of the Gulf and eastern Gulf, as well as the Caribbean, northern Caribbean, southern Caribbean, and the eastern Caribbean. Western Atlantic, and then the parts of the MDR region all have very dry, not very dry, but very moist air. Um, Here in the central Atlantic, there's some dry air intrusions here. So green is go. These colors, the reds and oranges, mean stop. So in these colors, the reds and oranges, you're not going to get any development. In these darker greens and light greens, you might get development, but not now, obviously, but as we go on through time. All right, here's the tropical intensity index, and as you can see, we already have some highly favorable spots here in the Caribbean with some reds. This is not something you want to see at this point in time. Is these highly favorable areas right here for intensity. Oranges is favorable, while we got yellows, which is unfavorable, and green is highly unfavorable. So most of where you see tropical activity is very highly unfavorable right now. But this is going to change throughout the next couple of weeks as we go forward towards the start of the hurricane season. Anyways, I want to remind you guys here in just about 2.5 weeks, about 3 weeks, the National Hurricane Center is going to start issuing their normal updates or the tropical weather outlooks, or what we like to call them the TWO. They're going to be starting to announce some of the stuff out there. Um, Tell us if there's any chance of development and all that kind of good stuff. And I'm looking forward to them finally starting to do these updates too. Anyways, if you guys like this video, leave a thumbs up on it. Subscribe if you want more content like this. And I'll see you guys in like 4 days. I'll do another update in about 4 days with all this stuff. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Have a nice day.